Well, today we are zooming in for Monday with the Mayor here on 18 WJTS, and today we are with Jasper Mayor Dean Vonderheide, and we have a special guest with us to talk about the new cultural center. So thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Ann.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've asked Kyle Rupert, our director of the Jasper Community Arts, to join us today because the biggest thing going on in the community right now is just the recent opening, soft opening of the cultural center, the Tim Clark Cultural Center. It's an exciting time for the city, and I thought Kyle might be able to share a few things about what's going on.
Yeah, definitely. So how does it feel to finally have it finished?
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a long road getting here. The arts joined this path back in 2014, and it was a journey that the library had embarked on many years before that. But we were very excited to be able to join them on this quest, on this journey, and so it definitely feels very, very nice. There's a large sense of relief to get it to this point and to be able to allow members of the public into the facility. I will say that the work continues as we live in the space and work in the space, debugging it and finding those little things that pop up and seeing how people interact with the facility in many ways, how we anticipated, and some unique ways that we hadn't thought out on paper. So working through that, and all in all, it's an exciting time both for each of us, the arts, the city, the library, and the community at large.
And how do you hope this will impact our community here?
Oh, I think that the impact is going to be felt widely and for many years to come. I mean, just in the 3 weeks that the exhibit spaces have been open to the public, we have gotten numerous phone calls and visits from 3 or more hours away, people from surrounding states that have called in to us. And of course, Jasper has had many reasons to visit before this facility opened, but this is just one more piece to help give people a reason whether to come for the first time or to stay a bit longer than they had before. And so we're just adding to that driving force, particularly in the downtown area. You know, the city took an approach many years ago to really invest and really focus on keeping that downtown area vital. And this is just one more part of that puzzle. And we're really excited to see all the traffic downtown and working with groups like Heart of Jasper and the Downtown Merchants to make this a collaborative effort and a synergistic one as well.
What was the process like with trying to build this whole new building?
How much time do we have? Because I will say it was a very involved process. Many meetings, many hours spent talking on all facets. So it was a long process. It was a hard process. The process is ongoing. There are a lot of different pieces at play, both financially, from a construction standpoint, from a programming standpoint. The library has their set way of doing things that they have to do it a certain way. The city has theirs, and in many ways those are the same, but in many ways they're not. And how do we combine those into a facility and
That's right.
make sure that the things that the public sees, the policies and procedures. What we didn't want to do was have two different worlds that you're living in. So if you're in the library, you're under one set of rules, and then when you go over to the exhibits or workshops, it's a totally different set of rules, and that's just an unpleasant experience. So just from that perspective, it took many meetings to discuss and learn from each other, exactly how we go about things. And that's just one part. That doesn't talk about all the lawyers we've spoken with and financial folks that we've spoken with and insurance and on and on and on. So it's taken a lot of good faith conversations and a lot of in-depth conversations and many meetings over several hours and weeks and days and years. And that's one reason why it's taken so long. It's been worth it, but we have to measure twice and cut once, because you only get really one crack at it with a building like this.
And
this is a wonderful asset, and I have to compliment all the the stakeholders that have been involved in it, from the library board to the Arts Commission to our LLC, which has really been in charge of paying the bills and organizing the construction companies. We couldn't have asked for better participants and stakeholders to work on this project.
And how has the COVID-19 pandemic impacted the construction of this project?
I don't know, Mayor. I think we both have different sides of it. You know what though? I will say kudos to the crews working. Kudos to the officials that lead our community, the health department for being clear with their directions and their guidelines. There have been times where certain smaller things maybe impacted some timelines, but for the most part, in a general sense, the project was completed. It was substantially completed around the time we expected it to be substantially completed. We didn't open the building on January 2nd or so, like maybe we had thought a year ago, but when we got people in the building on January 19th, we opened the exhibits virtually on January 7th. We couldn't have done those things if the building wasn't in a spot to do that. So as far as COVID's impact, work processes probably had to change, I imagine. I don't want to speak for the contractors on site, but it didn't significantly delay the project. The way the project was put together financially, we had the funds that we needed to build the project from the get-go. So where many projects maybe had to be put on hold or stopped because they didn't have funds to continue, we didn't run into that problem because we had everything up front that we needed.
And how was the process moving in like?
Yeah, so again, another one of those that's ongoing, mostly done though at this point. The arts, given the facility that we were essentially replacing was the basement of the swimming pool, a lot of the stuff that we brought in was new items. A lot of that could be delivered on site. Many of the office, files, various other pieces that we had that are in good shape, those were moved over. But for the library, you're talking 88,000 or more individual pieces in their collection, and their shelving they reused. That was a Herculean effort. They had a crew that helped mostly with that, and then their staff they did all that hard work, and they did a great job moving that over. But it was a process of several days to get everything moved in, and then we're still working on getting everything put in its final place, all the art supplies and all of that. But it's an effort, and it's a team effort, and it's still ongoing, but we're very, very close to having that all wrapped up.
You asked how COVID impacted this, and I do want to make a statement here. In a way, it helped us with this focus. Kyle and his staff, if we'd have been going through a normal season, their time allotment and focus would have been on all of that programming and the handling of the artists, and what they were able to do is focus on this particular project. So it came in, it's relatively on time, and it's within budget, and that a project this size doesn't happen too often. So I give Kyle and Christine Golden, the library director, as well as our construction partners, a lot of credit for keeping us on task and moving this thing forward.
And Mr. Mayor, how does it feel to kind of brag about this finally being done?
Oh, I can't wait to show it off. I really can't. And I did show it off when I have opportunities, believe me. Yesterday, I had a gentleman that was in here doing a video, and I sent him over there because he is in Jasper for the first time. Well, if you're in Jasper for the first time, you've got to go to the Tim Clark Cultural Center. So that's, and I think, Kyle, you've been seeing the traffic that way. We're seeing much improved traffic already with the number of visitors to the Arts Center.
Yes, absolutely. So out the Crimp Gallery at Jasper Arts Center, which is next to the campus of Vincent University of Jasper, some months we would see maybe 40 people, 50 people total, the bulk of which coming to our receptions. It wasn't always like that, but many months it was. And in a Sunday now, we'll see that many people that come through the exhibit space. And the thing too is you could say, well, they're just here to see the Mellencamp exhibit. And that's a fair point for some, but no one's just staying and looking at one exhibit. They're going through all three of our exhibit spaces. They're then walking over to the library side or vice versa. There's a lot of that coming to the entire facility. Very few people, if any, at least that visit the art site, are coming just for that one component. And then once we've had so many people ask, when are classes starting? When are classes going to be happening? What about events? Where are events going to happen at? So there's a lot of interest, and a lot of that planning is in the works. So I think it's really just going to grow as the pandemic subsides and we get into the summer and fall.
This is what we had hoped for. That
Yeah.
was the dream, that we would see people from the library migrate over to the arts and the arts migrate over to the library.
And I'm sure for many Jasper residents and for even visitors, it's kind of been the light at the end of the tunnel, especially with the pandemic going on.
Yeah, I'd agree. It has been for us, yes.
Well, thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
Well, today you've been watching Monday with the Mayor here on 18 WJTS, and today we've been on Zoom with Jasper Mayor Dean Vonderheide and our special guest for the 10 Cultural Center, Kyle Rupert. Thanks for watching. This is 18 WJTS, local people watching local people.